Hi, it's Michelle from Movement Lesson, and we're continuing our midline series. And in this video, I'm going to be working on crossing midlines through the mid-back. Now, for those of you who don't know anatomy, again, I'm just using the shirt to show you a better visualization techniques, but if you just put your hand on somebody, you're at the base of the rib cage. So what you're doing here is you're also kidney area, liver area, diaphragm integration, but what I'm really working on is just crossing midline on the spine. Now for this, beanbag next to me. Let's use. For this though, since I want to use my hand for movement lesson, I'm going to just use a beanbag, depending on where you're working. Now, if I'm just working here, fine, I don't need a beanbag. If I'm going underneath this, the spine, the processes, as you can see, the laser doesn't necessarily want to stay put, and I just use literally some bean bags. And so now I have the lasers and I can adjust it for close. I'm going to back it off just a little bit so you can see my hand technique. But if you're working with the laser, bringing up close, your hand technique is going to be here. But again, I'm just going to back off on the laser so you can see my hands in this area. There's two ways of working with crossing midline, just like if we've been discussing for upper and lower back. For this technique, I'm going to go just a little bit above. My thumbs are going to be doing, quote, most of the work, but it's just a light rotation. The rotation's going to be the whole hand. And just what I'm doing here is I'm just almost like I'm lifting the spine and bringing it back down. This is very important that the tempo is very symmetric, for lack of better words. The same going up the speed as it's going down. I'm not going up and then letting go. Because again, you can even see with her system, she sloshes, she wobbles. You do not want that. That's one of the problems why you're here if you have a hypotonic or hypertonic child, because there is too much outer momentum. And right now, this is what we are enhancing, is that subtle spinal movements are really fine motor skills. And I'll be covering that in a whole nother series going beyond the cognitive vision, where I'm going to be having evaluation techniques for your fine motor skills as well as for your gross motor skills. But to me, the spine and breathing are fine motor skills. So as you can see, I'm just enough for that lifting, enough for that spine to cross midline. If your child or the person you're working with really has issues with that, it might look like this. I'm just really looking to see if I can initiate all those fine little movements. Now, a child that's had NICU time, hasn't had a lot of tummy time per se, has not learned these subtle movements on the side of the spine. And in that case too, you want to make sure you're doing this on both sides. If you go back to the rotations, you check rotation from the left as you do from the right. And also with the midline, you really want to make sure that goes through on both sides, just like you're learning in the cognitive vision seminar. So now I'm going to do a little asymmetrical with that. I'm going to go down below and above. So now my right hand is going to be doing more of the work. And if I switch over, my left hand's going to be doing more of the work. But if you notice, the thumbs are doing the bulk of it. I'm just extending that movement. And again, if you want to realize how nice these lasers are working, I'm going to take the laser away. Now again, I'm already 2 inches away. I'm going to put it over here just to show you the difference of working. Especially coming in underneath. I don't have the range of motion that I'd like to have with her without the lasers. And you can do the same kind of quote testing when you do it. Same quote pressure, touch. I get, and this is why you're here, I get the core movement integration. She's moving through her upper body as she does her lower body. in a much more synchronized, uniform manner. If I take the laser away, her upper body might be working, but that it's just not as nice. Now she moves well, so, but I don't know if you can see the subtle differences, but I'll be doing that with all sorts of people. But I get a much longer, much more fluid touch when I'm using the laser. And now we're going to go to the lower back.